Good morning, just Patrick here coming to you from Complete Health. I just wanted to talk about a movie I watched at the weekend. Now, interestingly enough, I'm one of these geeks that learns lessons from some of the weirdest places. And this movie was actually really interesting. It was a Robin Williams movie. Now, I'm a big fan of Robin Williams, but this movie was called Patch Adams. And so me and my girlfriend were watching this on Saturday evening, and it's one of those movies that challenges your beliefs on looking at things in the status quo. So the story, Patch Adams, which was Robin Williams, he was going through a bout of depression, and he ended up he self-certified himself into a mental institution in which he spent about 2 or 3 weeks in this mental institution. But one of the people that he was roommates with, it was almost treated like a prison, but one of the people that he was roommate with had a problem with leaving his bed. And Robin Williams, in this first scene of the movie, managed to help this gentleman to leave his bed. And as a result, decided that he wanted to become a doctor, because the doctors that were helping people in this mental institution were never listening to the patients and not really helping them. So he decided he was going to challenge the status quo and actually go against doctors and go and learn medicine in a way and treat medicine in a way that treated a patient with more humility and love. And essentially the moral of the story was basically Robin Williams wanted to spread basically love, joy, happiness, and laughter throughout the hospitals, so that he could, and what he noticed is that patients were getting significantly better if you treated them with respect, love, you understood their names, you understood their needs, and you actually took care of what they needed, as opposed to just treating a symptom, disease, or pathological process. And basically throughout the story, his patients were getting better results than any of his other students, despite the fact that he spent most of his time goofing around, playing around, never being serious, always joking. And his class results, his school results, his exam results were just as good as everyone else's, because he learned via the process of bringing joy into other people's lives. And because he was so passionate about everything that he did, learning the things was a lot easier than all of his other classmates. Now, interestingly enough, because of the way that he was behaving, all of the other doctors thought that he was bonkers and wanted to dismiss his methodology. They thought it was unprofessional, they thought it was unjust, and as a result, they tried to kick him out. Now, interesting, this is very similar to a lot of things that happen in society and life right now, which is, if someone has a belief that not everybody else or the vast majority of people don't believe in, then all of a sudden it is considered cuckoo, witchcraft, or quackery, which doesn't necessarily ring true, because there are many cases, and by the way, chiropractic is one of those, because chiropractic on a number of occasions has been considered quackery and witchcraft and has been sued by the medical profession on a number of occasions. And chiropractors have actually gone to prison to actually defend our profession and make sure that we can still deliver chiropractic care today, because many people thought that chiropractic care was quackery, and doctors thought that we were practicing medicine without a license and what we were doing was illegal. But if those people never stood up, like Robin Williams stood up for the way that he worked in this movie, then things would never, ever, ever change, and people would still be getting the same care that they would have done 40, 50 years ago. Now, the reality of it was if no one ever challenged that thing, we would still be using the same syringe for every single patient in the hospital. Doctors would never clean their hands, and we wouldn't practice sanitation methods. We wouldn't even probably have real drainage systems within the UK, because we would never have believed that disease could have been spread in the ways that we did. And so I've learned a very good moral from this story is that, okay, I do not need to necessarily conform. I just need to speak my truth and help people. And if you feel like you have a truth, or you've learned something, or you've observed something, and not that everybody agrees with you, it might not necessarily mean that you're not right. It just means that you need to actually prove them that you're right. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this motivating story. By the way, if you want to watch this movie, it's called Patch Adams. It is on Netflix. It was one of those movies that we managed to pick out by sifting through all of the junk. And I'm so glad that I actually picked this movie out, because it was an absolutely brilliant movie. The moral of the story and the actual kind of heartwarming effect of this movie was actually brilliant. It was good enough that I've come and spoken to you guys about it on Monday morning. So I genuinely believe if something's good enough that you're going to go and talk about it to someone else, then it's got to be good. Until tomorrow, guys, have a lovely afternoon, have a lovely day. It's still the morning. Have a lovely day, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow.